It's time to get all your Star Wars news in a single file. From Tracks TV, this is Good Morning Tatooine!
Good morning, Tatooine. Indeed, we're breaking out the Halloween graphics because we're going to get a chance to use them once a year.
Bit late.
A little bit late, but paid for them at one point. Got to get use out of them.
We forgot to use them on Friday, didn't we?
We did. We should have used them on Friday. That would have made all the sense if you're going live on Halloween, wouldn't it? But we didn't use a single one. There we go. Look at that. It's beautiful.
Oh dear, brilliant.
Oh dear, Paul. We're back live Sunday night for Good Morning Tatooine. All your catch up on all the Star Wars news and Lucasfilm news, indeed, from this past week. I'm your host, Brian Cameron. With me, as always, I've introduced you already, but it's Mr. Paul Naylor.
Hello, sir. Hello.
We've already spoken this week because we did a live show to celebrate Father Track's 8th birthday.
Great fun.
On Friday night, which was good fun. A little bit chaotic, but are we not chaotic all the time?
Pretty much, and you even got congratulated by a fellow fan, Paul McHugh, for reining things in, which you did very well.
It was hard work. It was hard work indeed. But we've got a massive amount of news to cover this week, so shall we see what's coming up on the show?
Lots of little snippets, I hope.
Stern Pinball Star Wars Fall of the Emperor Pinball is available now. You remember if we showed you the teaser trailer just a few weeks ago, which was something else to behold. Now we've got a proper full trailer to show you.
Maybe I was on one of my holidays, I don't know, I can't remember. Then we've got Star Wars Visions car and arm fight sequence. So yeah, Visions is now available on Disney+.
Aaron Pierre has been speaking about Starfighter, and he's quoted as saying, "We understand the magnitude of this." We'll be hearing more about Starfighter.
I'll say that. Marvel January 2026 solicitations. We've got Solo, Vader, and Wars.
And also the comics coming from Dark Horse as well.
Interesting that we've got both lots there. MCM London Comic Con Hasbro panel brings reveals from the Black Series and the Vintage Collection. Some interesting stuff in there too.
Yeah, we'll be checking out the coverage that Richard Mitchell got from us from that show, as well as we can check out some of the official images as well that they released post-show.
Excellent. And then A New Hope is coming to cinema in IMAX in 2027. I'll definitely be going to see that.
We'll be discussing whether Rogue Squadron could now be heading for the streaming realm.
And how the Stranger and the Knights of Ren would have been connected in some way.
Talking of the Stranger, Manny Jacinto himself has been talking about potentially returning to the Acolyte. He would love to come back. Would you love the Acolyte to come back? That's the question.
It's more chance of tomorrow being Wednesday. Thank the maker, celebrating The Force Awakens with guest moderator Pablo Hidalgo. I always get his name spelled Hidalgo. Pablo, anyway.
Hidalgo. Friend of the show, Nick Owenford, is heading to Star Wars Fun Day next year. So if you're a fan of the ISB in Andor, here's your chance to get your photo and autograph with Nick.
And he's already promised to spend £5 on my table. Adam Driver's been talking about a Ben Solo film, and it was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and apparently it was really cool. So who knows? That might get made one day.
The news that it's not getting made has upset fans. And so they flew a banner over Disney HQ. What would you do to get your preferred Star Wars movie made?
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
And then Steven Soderbergh talks The Hunt for Ben Solo. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it. So he's already thrown his 10 pence worth.
He has, yeah. Well, sad days. We'll be discussing The Hunt for Ben Solo in depth later in the show. And, Mr. Newbold's calling you out for your pronunciation of Hidalgo as well.
Thank you, Mark Newbold. Thank you.
Should we get stuck straight into the news, Paul? Because we've got a lot to cover.
Yeah, I just call him Pabbles when I meet him anyway, so it's fine. Yeah. It's all
Yeah, let's bring up the first news. It just reminded me that I forgot to prep it all earlier. So we'll just have to wing it. Here we go. We're loading. We're loading. We're consenting to the cookies. I love cookies. Stern Pinball Star Wars Fall of the Emperor Pinball is available now. If you remember, probably about 6 weeks back, we ran the trailer, which was about all of 10 seconds and showed you absolutely nothing. They are now back. The Pro Edition, priced at under 7,000, bargain. That extra
That's not cheap.
$1 that they knocked off there makes all the difference. And the premium one at $9,699. It warrants a proper trailer, and a proper trailer we have been given. So let's check it out.
Hey everybody, it's George Gomez at Stern Pinball, and we're here today in a galaxy not far away to launch you into the legendary Star Wars universe with our latest game, Star Wars Fall of the Empire. With its debut in 1977, Star Wars redefined pop culture and remains one of the most iconic and influential themes of all time. We're excited to bring Star Wars to a new generation of pinball players, taking them on an epic adventure to relive key parts of the Skywalker saga and save the galaxy once and for all. Fueled by our brand new Spike 3 technology, Stern Pinball Star Wars Fall of the Empire will have players returning to the story that started it all. Players will experience timeless Star Wars moments through a pinball adventure like none other. This next generation of Spike 3 technology features a robust enhanced CPU, allowing us to seamlessly integrate high-quality film assets and custom animations that really highlight our new, larger, full HD display. Game assets, including John Williams' iconic Star Wars score, sound amazing on our all-new audio system. And this is just the beginning of the Spike 3 platform. Over the course of the next year, you'll see an array of additional Spike 3 platform features that will continue to enhance performance and usability.
So it goes on. So you can get the link. You can get the link in the show notes. You can watch. It's about 3.5 minutes, but that's a flavour of it. Which would have been nicer because I might have pre-ordered it. You know,
Yeah.
the 10-second trailer didn't convince me to spend $7,000. But it looks very nice and a lot of new high-tech technology. I'm not a big pinball guy because I'm just one of these bash the buttons kind of guy. But it's a lot more intricate than that if you're heavy into the pinball.
I love it. It looks absolutely brilliant, but it's a big chunk of money, isn't it? That's the thing.
is.
What's the difference between the basic version and the another $4 or $5 on top?
One says Pro.
That's
a
more
great question,
bells
Paul.
and more bells and whistles.
Let's pull up the article. Does it tell us?
Does it
tell us?
Does it?
Yeah, it doesn't.
No,
I don't really know.
no.
It's available in Pro Premium and also a limited edition. At this moment in time, Mr. Newbold, I'm sure, is researching it for us to tell us the difference.
Yeah, he's feverishly typing away.
Different design on it, I guess, is one thing. But yeah. I'm assuming they've all got pinballs in them, so you know the options of differences between the two is probably slim. If you watch the whole of the rest of the video, you probably find out the differences. To be honest,
But I mean, it's a nice idea, and I can see it now in Mr. Newbold's sort of Star Wars room. I can see it set up somewhere next to his Star Wars arcade machine.
Yeah,
you'll have to do a rearrange, but you know. But
they've
I'd love
put
one.
a lot of effort into this. To be fair to them, because I have been watching them, but there is over 1,000 high quality film and audio assets integrated into the gameplay. So a mix of actual clips from movies, shows, with their own animations, and they've also got Chris Bartlett's C-3PO. So, in fairness to Stern, a lot of work gone into this. So, if you're a pinball guy, this is probably looking like a bargain, even at $7,000 for you.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly. I would rather have that over and above the Vector Graphics Star Wars arcade machine. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love both, but the pinball machine, like you say, it's got so much built into it. It's going to be a different experience every time you play it.
Yeah, that's very
yeah.
true.
One day, who knows?
One day. And bringing up Visions as well. We're going to have to consent to cookies all the time, will we? No, we won't. Star Wars Visions has arrived in Disney Plus Season 3.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to check it out yet?
I've literally started watching the first episode of Season 3 just before the show. And again, it's brilliant. It's sort of like a continuation of the story that was in Series 1, Episode 1. So it's got the droid with the little Chinese hat on. He features prominently in it, and also the main character from that, whose name escapes me. But yeah, it's striking the way that it's actually put together. It's beautifully done. I love the black and white stuff with just the odd color flash here, maybe a lightsaber, maybe a light. It's brilliant, but yeah, it does look it looks pretty good from what I've seen so far. Some of the other episodes, and now we're going to show a clip shortly, maybe not so much. These really are quite stylistically very different from Episode 1.
Yeah.
And they're not exactly my cup of tea, but still, I will watch them.
You mentioned a clip. Let's have a look at said clip.
Yeah, let's have a look at this one. Yeah.
What's this?
And again, that goes on for a few minutes. So again, check out the show notes. But yeah, I kind of agree with your point that some work, some don't. And I think with Season 3, I kind of feel that Star Wars Visions has done its purpose and has explored the world of anime with the Star Wars. Now, to move it forward, you have to pick the studio that you want to work with on a more focused full series. And I know we're getting The Ninth Jedi as its own thing next year, which has been one of the more popular of the Star Wars Visions. But yeah, it feels like to move this forward now, you need to get away from this sort of, is it harsh to say, experimental Star Wars? And to become more focused and actually part of the Star Wars canon and fully committed animated series with one of the studios.
Yeah, I mean, not wishing to sound in any way sort of xenophobic or patronising. It does seem to be very much aimed at the Japanese market.
Yes.
And obviously there's a lot of kids in Europe and the States now that are very on board with that kind of style. But certainly for me, I find that a bit of a hard watch. It's quite confusing. I don't know what you thought, but
I kind of feel like if I go to a Comic Con nowadays, there's a lot of young people dressed up as anime characters that I haven't got a clue whether they're good cosplays or bad cosplays. I've got no idea.
Neither have I.
And it's maybe just something that's not for our age group.
I think it's probably what it is. It's from the same crowd that we see at Comic Cons holding up signs saying free hugs.
Yeah, there's Mr. Booker. He should know better than anyone running a comic and toy shop. Anime is on trend.
Yeah, this is it.
You two are old. So I think that's it. I'll go back to my K-pop vampire hunters or something. Is that the cool thing? I had a K-pop vampire hunter at my door on Friday night just before we went live looking for sweets. None of the kids do anything anymore for Halloween. I used to have to tell a joke. got any sweets? You know what I mean? It's like, come on, do something for it.
Well, I mean,
Mr. Booker's a big fan of anime.
Trick?
Matt, when we went to Japan, did all the sort of anime kind of stuff, and we went away and did something.
Yeah.
We did Harry Potter. Me and Mark Newbold went to Harry Potter, and I think Matt, I can remember, it was Ghibli Studios who did Grogu and the Dust Bunnies short. That's what I do remember. Apparently, it's massive. Never heard of it.
Yeah. Well, Star Wars is a broad church these days. It's pretty much everywhere. It's got so many fingers and so many pies. It's a broad
church, and just like the churches, it's got a fallen audience. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
As Mark points out, Potter was amazing. I've not seen all of the Harry Potter movies, or I should clarify, they've been on in the background because they're constantly on ITV. Let's be honest, here in the UK. So I've seen enough clips to get a general gist. I did the Harry Potter tour in Japan, and sensational, really well done. And I may not have known what half the things were that people were getting excited about. But yeah, incredibly well done. We also had a Sunday roast dinner, which came with baked beans, because obviously that's British, so we might as well throw that in the dish. That was odd. But yeah.
Hang on. So you had a proper roast dinner, but they threw baked beans on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Full British roast dinner, Yorkshire pudding, everything, and a portion of baked beans.
That's probably a bit like when we order a Chinese meal and we throw things together that they wouldn't dream of having.
That's exactly what I said. It's like, we go to a Japanese restaurant. You can imagine the Japanese coming to the UK and going to a Japanese restaurant and thinking, what the heck is this?
Brilliant.
But yeah, those beans were weird. It was the weirdest bit of the trip, to be honest. I never once encountered any sushi the entire time I was in Japan, weirdly.
I'm sure there was some.
You know how we all get stuck in this world of, what would you call it, I guess? Stereotypes. You expect there to be a lot of uncooked fish in Japan. Never once encountered any. Lot of tuna and cheese sandwiches, weirdly. Random. Star Wars Starfighter, more for our age group, perhaps, is going to be coming in 2027. And Aaron Pierre, who's been announced as having a role in it, a role we do not yet officially know. That's true, no sushi. And also, just because it's important, the egg mayo sandwiches were quite nice as well. So yeah, if you're going to Japan, check out the egg mayo sandwiches. Don't worry about the sushi. Back to Star Wars Starfighter. Okay, let's get on topic. Let's get on topic. Because we'll be talking Downton Abbey shortly. All he can say is that Sean, the director, Sean Levy, is so very wonderful. He's so passionate. He cares so much, as do everyone who's involved in this. And we're going to do our best to bring the very best version of this film to the fans and the supporters and to those who will be introduced to the world for the first time. We understand the magnitude of this, so we're very excited.
Yeah.
I often think about my first experience, how much of a core memory it was, and then, in addition to thinking about how much of a core memory it is, I think about all the emotions associated with that core memory, and only have positive emotions associated with that. I would love if ours is a core memory for many, and they only have positive emotions and feelings associated with it. That's a very confusing sentence to read out. I'm confident we will achieve that because everyone is so invested and so passionate, and they care, and I really believe that this will translate onto the screen. Do you think he's got positive emotions about the film, Paul?
He sounds somewhat hesitant, but I think the importance of this film is so much more than The Mandalorian and Grogu. And not only is it being released in the 50th anniversary year of the original, but also The Mandalorian and Grogu is kind of, it's like the end of, or maybe not the end of, but you know, it's underlining the TV series, so it's already got somewhere to go from. Whereas this is potentially a standalone. Who knows? If it's mega successful, it might spawn a series. But to be the film that's being released 50 years after what is now known as A New Hope, it's so important they get it right.
Yeah. You mentioned the Mandalorian and Grogu, so just going back to food in Japan for a second. Grogu would appreciate the chicken cutlet sandwiches with the crusts off from Lawson's. Mr. Newbill still misses them. It's like a child taking abroad, got to get his crusts off. Let's talk comics. Lots of comics news to rattle through. Marvel Comics. Let's get rid of the adverts. The adverts are important. Pay for the site. Marvel have got new comics coming out in January, as they do every month, but we can see what they've got coming out. First up, Han Solo, Hunt for the Falcon. He's not hunting for Solo, he's hunting for the Falcon. And it's issue 5 coming from writer Rodney Barnes. Legacy of Vader has reached issue 12 from Charles Soule, which has been, again, features Kylo Ren. It's almost like they're trying to tell us something. Star Wars issue 9 from Alex Segura. Luke, Leia and Han teaming up with Valance. If you're fans of the original Marvel run, you'll be fans of the character of Valance as well. So not a lot of comics coming in January, but interesting themes across all three that we'll probably come back to later.
Those are all the Marvel ones, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. And we also have Dark Horse as well, Paul.
Yep.
For the younger people, Dark Horse is.
It doesn't sound like it should be, but yeah.
It is Dark Horse. They have hyperspace stories, Tides of Terror from George Mann, wonderful British writer there. And they also have Hyper Stories, The Bad Batch Rogue Agents, issue 2, from Michael Morecki as well. So yeah, focused on the younger readers there. And as Mr. Newell says, lots of Kylo if you're fans of Kylo. What more content could you possibly want? Something more attuned to your taste, perhaps, Paul. Action figures. Hasbro were at MCM London Comic Con.
Yeah. And
they had a panel there, and they brought the reveals, didn't they? The Black Series
Certainly
and
did.
the Vintage Collection. Yeah. And it's a bit of a squidgy photo, but there we go.
It's gone squidgy, yeah.
The Stranger from the Acolyte.
I see they've gone back to their 1995 Power of the Force line with the mean old Butch. No, that's better. There we go. Yeah. But it's a great figure. Nice to see they've finally done Darth Vader with his skull beneath the mask look, which we had in Black Series probably getting on for 10 years ago.
And we've also got Maul, because you can never, you know what I mean, with characters that come back from the dead.
Yeah, now that one is very similar to a version that came out not that long ago, but yeah, a great figure anyway.
Yeah, so lots coming. Lots of great photos up on the site from the panel if you want to check them out. We can check out some of the official photos as well.
Yeah. It was interesting how they sort of teased those figures here that have got the lightsabers where they've got that whooshing effect. So we've got a very... that's Kyle Katarn, I believe.
Yep. Very popular for gamers.
Yeah. Quinlan Voss. See how they've done the lightsaber there? I think that's a real cool effect, that.
Yeah, it's very different, isn't it?
Yeah. And they teased that not that long back. And people were sort of guessing what figures.
Richard did a smashing job at MCM for us. Yeah,
He
lots
did.
of great coverage on the site.
Yeah, great bloke, Rich. And then we've got
the young version of lightsaber, as you say.
Yeah, young version of Dooku, Darth Tyrannus.
So these are all sort of coming, like, it's interesting because you've got Star Wars gamers.
Yeah.
Quinlan Voss, yes, he kind of appears in the film, but really he originates from the original Dark Horse comic run. As an extremely popular character from there. Then you've got, I guess this is the Tales of animation series where you're getting young Dooku from.
The micro series that we had, yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting that they're picking on these. You've also got, for fans of the Acolyte, you've got The Stranger.
And that's great. That's a real good interpretation. I like that.
And for people that like characters that come back from the dead, which we'll get on to later, here's Shadow Mall. Is that how you refer to them?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think that's how they're calling it, yeah. Very cool.
And the aforementioned Vader skull.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of actually covering a lot of ground there, which is actually nice to see, I think.
It is. I mean, it's a shame we don't really get sort of a release from a film or a series like we used to. There was a time where they released all of the Rebels characters in one chunk for the Black Series. That was nice. You had a set of 7 figures that you could order. I kind of missed that a bit, but again, like you say, it's sort of a potpourri of Star Wars characters from all sorts of different bits of the Star Wars releases. So it's good. It's good.
Perhaps something that's targeted at us old boys again. Coming to IMAX in 2027 for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah.
Star Wars A New Hope. It's been announced, and along with Christopher Nolan's Odyssey, great film. Go and see that. People are relying on the residual payments for that movie. But alongside that, announced A New Hope was going to be on the map for release in 2027, which is very exciting because if you recall, back when they were doing Rogue One, Gareth Edwards spoke about the existence of a 4K IMAX edition of Star Wars A New Hope.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see that. And Mr. Newell does ask the questions. Could this be a version as screened at the BFI earlier this year, or a freshly renovated version as yet unseen?
Yeah.
I saw the BFI original cut. Which I thought was fantastic. You know, you've got to. It's a 1977 film, so the audio, the visuals, there's faults, but incredibly exciting to see it as originally presented. That's what I would like to see. I don't think it's mainstream enough.
No, I think there'll be people that will pick holes in it, won't they? It's
so
a shame.
If I was Lucasfilm, I would go for the universal release of A New Hope, as we know it today. So let's just call it the Disney Plus version of A New Hope. IMAX for the geeky people that like things in 4K, whatever. Ignore this whole 4G fireworks, shaky seats, garbage. Don't need that. And then limited release at certain cinemas around the nation. So probably only in London and the UK, for example, would be, for me, they should show like the BFI cut. So for your really hardcore fans like us that are old that would like to see something like that, make that available. But yeah, the mainstream release is going to be the Disney Plus cut.
Definitely.
IMAX, this version, and which I would imagine is going to be the Disney Plus cut, but just in IMAX quality.
Yeah.
And for us super geeks, the opportunity to see the BFI one, because I think it would be hugely popular. I think amongst a very hardcore fan base, probably not for universal release across cinemas up and down the country, though.
There's room in the schedule for it, and Bright, we'd go and see all 3 different versions, wouldn't we? You know we would.
And that that would be a proper celebration of the 50th anniversary. A little bit of everything.
Yeah. Do we know how well the Back to the Future 40th anniversary re-release has gone?
No idea.
That's something I'd love to go and see that at the cinema.
No idea. The last time I saw Back to the Future was at a secret cinema event, which I would love if they did that for A New Hope for the 50th anniversary as well.
I think there's a good chance.
Back to the Future was phenomenal. Apart from nearly getting run down by the DeLorean, It was phenomenal. I loved that. Secret Cinema, I highly recommend any chance. Any film, to be perfectly honest. Not horror films, though.
No. I've never been to a secret
Little
cinema. I
bit
need
too
to do
much. We needed a new pair of underwear after going to a secret cinema horror event.
Well,
Although,
if they ever do a secret cinema for The Last Jedi, I'll need Breton pants as well. So
yeah, but yeah, secret cinema Star Wars. That's what she do 50th anniversary. I'd be there.
Definitely.
Next up, there is an Acolyte book on the way. For those that are keen to go behind the scenes of the Acolyte, fans of the Acolyte. The Art of the Acolyte's coming out 13th of January 2026, and the showrunner Leslie Headland has been getting interviewed about it, and she kind of teased the fact about where things would have hit, or where she would have taken things if there'd been a second season. And obviously we saw Plagueis teased at the very end of season 1. And as she discusses, it was in the design of the character, as well as knowing that we were going to introduce Darth Plagueis, who has to end up with Palpatine as his apprentice, following the rule of 2. A precept that limited the Sith to just 2 at any given time, a master and apprentice. One way to keep it going is if the stranger is the first Knight of Ren, part of the Sith-adjacent cult that we know eventually survives. So the theory was that Keemer, or the stranger, whatever you might call him, wasn't a Sith apprentice, but was in this offshoot, the Knights of Ren, and he would have been the first one, which is interesting. But we have to.
I like the sound of that. Yeah.
Now that we have to put this in the context that no season 2 was written, and when Leslie Helen talks about this, we have to admit this, that she said herself she wanted a break after the first season, so it was going to be this 2-3 years that have now sort of become quite common in TV before we would have got a season 2. So these are just thoughts that were perhaps in her head, rather than anything constructive or more serious than that.
I mean, I suppose that there is an outside chance that, whilst there might not be a season 2 of Acolyte, that there could be The Stranger in a different series, and maybe they go down this route.
Well, to me, I'm not interested in anything beyond Plagueis.
No, I know.
So I would have went with a Plagueis series and bring The Stranger, and to some degree Osha, though I think there's not much value to her character in that storyline particularly, if you go down the Plagueis route. As a way to continue it, but I don't know if they will, because it just performs so badly compared to what it cost. They would really need to change up what they were doing to even think of going there again. I think it would be a hard one to get anyone to want to approve, and we'll talk about approvals in a moment. Just on a side note, Mr. Newell, Back to the Future 40th anniversary release grabbed 4.7 million from 2,290 theatres. 5th place on the North American charts, now has a domestic total of 221.7 million.
Blimey. Thank you, Mark. Yeah. So I desperately need to go and see that before it's taken away from the cinema. I don't think it's on much longer. So, yeah.
So, there is measure that could have went forward, but I think you're not going to see more of the Acolyte on TV, let's be honest. What it cost in relation to the number of viewers that it got, it was almost fated to not continue from the beginning, because it was so expensive. It would have had to have outperformed what The Mandalorian did to justify getting renewed. So that's a failure, not on the showrunner Leslie Headland, that's a failure on Lucasfilm and not reining it in to make it a feasible level of production. Yeah.
And the Knights of Ren were wasted in the films anyway, weren't they? That was, everything looked so cool about them.
I put that down. A lot of interesting characters were kind of wasted in that sequel trilogy. And now I'm terrible at forgetting the lead stormtroopers' name? The Silver Stormtrooper.
Phasma. Captain
Yeah,
Phasma.
another wasted character that was interesting that went nowhere. So yeah.
Zori Bliss. That was another wasted one. From the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's lots of characters out there. So yeah. I feel sorry. There's a passionate fan base of people who appreciated the Acolyte for what it was story-wise, who aren't interested in the business side of things, that just want to see more Acolyte. Sadly, business is always going to rule over creativity. And again, we'll come to that later in the show. Talking about creativity and what things are, we never ever got the Rogue One Squadron beyond a sort of teaser from director Patty Jenkins. Now there's talk coming from My Time to Shine Hello, which is a paywalled industry insider site, has made the comment that Rogue Squadron is now being developed as a TV series. Should have been in the first place.
Yeah, I'd love to say that.
Don't know how much truth is in this, beyond that it makes common sense. So sometimes throwing out spoilers that make common sense, or throwing out a made-up story that makes common sense, sometimes they stick because common sense often happens. It would amaze me if they weren't considering Rogue Squadron as a TV series. That
it's the sort of thing. Yeah, it's the sort of thing that would be brilliant to announce at Celebration in 2027.
Yeah. The only reason I ran this story, even though it's a rumour, because I hate rumours, because I saw something this week that made me think it could be true. But we'll maybe come back to that in future weeks.
Okay.
That's just a little tease from me. Manny Jacinto, we were talking Acolyte. He would love to return because he's an actor and he likes to get paid to do things. And I always say this when actors when you ask someone, would you come back and do it? Yes, because they all want money, like me and you. There's no actor that doesn't want work. You would had to have hated working on a project for him to say no. Yeah. So he says he's always ready and would love to run it back if they'd have me. It was a role of a lifetime, and I'm incredibly proud of what we did in Acolyte and with Oshimer, with that whole relationship. So does it mean anything? No, other than,
He's ready. He's ready and willing if ever they come back to him. Yeah.
Just to prelude what we're off to talk about. In a world where Adam Driver got a film developed to the point of Lucasfilm talking to Disney, anything can be considered viable. There we go.
Yeah.
Write a script, Manny, is what you're getting told there. Someone to talk to if you're thinking of writing a Lucasfilm script. He won't talk to you about it because that's for sure, because it's not worth his job. But he's going to be at Thank the Maker in Fordingbridge in December. Thank the Maker, a new convention from Dave Tree, following on from the very highly successful And More. They're going to be going behind the scenes of The Force Awakens, and they have a guest moderator in Pablo Hidalgo for this one.
Hey.
Pablo, a great study of Star Wars, dives deep into lore, and I don't know if he still is, but part of the Star Wars story group. It has evolved over time. I'm not entirely sure that his responsibilities fall directly into the story group now. I stand to be corrected on that one. I'm not currently sure. Because it's a mixed bag of things that go on at Lucasfilm. There's many different roles he takes, but he's very integral to anyone developing a film or TV series into understanding and getting into the weeds of Star Wars lore.
He's probably best known these days for being the person behind a lot of the behind-the-scenes books.
Yes.
So they're almost a making of, aren't they? But he's very, very good at those books.
Yeah, he's going to be joined at the show by Jake Lunt Davis, Brian Herring, Martin Rezard, and Lee Tursley. Takes place on Sunday, the 7th of December. But if you're into Star Wars, you may well want to be at Farthest From the day before Retro Toy Show, which is always amazing. And you can also get your Christmas dinner as well that night as well if you're planning on making a weekend of it.
It is great fun. Yeah, are you going, Brian?
More updates to come between now and December 7th. Promised.
Are you going along to that one, Brian?
December's very tricky for me for work reasons, so I would love to. Fordingbridge is very difficult for me to get to from where I stay.
It's very difficult for anybody to get to.
And I think that's why it's called Farthest From. It's a plane, trains and automobiles, which is appropriate for this month. Trying to get home for Thanksgiving, that is what getting to Fordingbridge is for me. But yeah, highly recommend it as a show. Dave Tree puts on wonderful events, and Farthest From the toy shows, it's just awesome to walk around and see everything. It's almost like it's halfway between a toy show and a museum, isn't it, really?
Yeah. No, it's full of very sort of deeply enthusiastic collectors. The Christmas meals are always great. I think the last one I went to, we had a screening of Return of the Jedi. That might have been one previous to that. But yeah, if you can get to it, go for it, folks. Sadly, I'll be in Tenerife. I say sadly. I don't know. Yeah.
Another holiday, Paul? Is that holiday
number 8? I think that is the 8th one this year. That's greed. Just greed, isn't it? I'll tell you.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Even Jack as well in the chat's there. See, he's moved to Canada and he's changed his profile picture to a picture with him with a gun. Just calling you out there. The Christmas meal at Fordingbridge, always huge fun. It is indeed. It is something special that weekend. So I highly recommend you go. Tickets are selling out incredibly fast, so move quickly. Links are all in the show notes if you want to find out more. Talking about great events here in the UK, Star Wars Fun Day have announced Nick Owenford, friend of the show, is going to be there for Fun Day 2026. Yeah. And if you're a fan of the ISB like I am, you get a chance to get your photo autograph with Nick, who is in the third Downton Abbey movie. If you watch the horse racing scene, you will spot Nick, because I did. Big fan of Downton Abbey spoilers here on the show. What can we say?
What do you like? I've got a feeling Nick was in both seasons of Andor as well.
I think he was, yes.
Yeah.
Fantastic array of content he's been in. Willy Wonka, The Crown, Loki. Harry was aforementioned Harry Potter. He was in Fantastic Beasts as well. So he joins previously announced guests Nick Joseph and Michael Carter. So already shaping up to be a great lineup for Fun Day, which comes May 4th. What a day!
It's a bank holiday Monday this time. It's a Monday.
Ewood Park. So you have to remember it's Blackburn, not Burnley. Burnley is ingrained in my head, but it's been probably as many years now at Blackburn as it was in Burnley.
Yeah. And the beauty of Star Wars Fun Day, which is probably unlike many of the conventions that people have gone to, is that you get to chat with these people for quite some time as well. And I've had a chat with Nick myself, and he's lovely to chat with. He's like you said, Brian, he's been in all sorts of different series and films, so he's got plenty to tell you. So go along, make sure you get a ticket.
Yeah. Showing our age here again. Questioning Paul Naylor's holidays. Is this Judith Paul Naylor or Judith Chalmers? I actually once worked with Judith Chalmers' son, who became a TV presenter. He at one point was presenter of The Big Breakfast. I can't remember his name. It's completely gone.
Neither can I. But he did look a lot like his mum, didn't he?
He did. He did. Mark Ebod, look up Judith Chalmers' son's name. We've had some very memorable nights at Star Wars Fan Day. Absolutely. Remember, there's a meal the night before as well. You can spend an evening with Nick potentially if you're on his table. And, what better way to get all the stories about the making of Andor, and the fact that it's such a fantastic, relaxed event. You know, it's not just standing in a queue for an hour to get an autograph. You'll get a chance to chat with Nick as well, and you get to appreciate how much fun these guys are to get to know.
We ought to make that happen, you know. I'm sure Nick would love to be on our table because he's a big fan of Fanta Tracks. So let's get him on our table.
Absolutely.
Let's do that.
I think it's is it on a Monday, May the 4th?
It is on a Monday, so it'll be the Sunday night, won't it, for the meal?
Mark Darden Smith. There we go.
There you go.
I can't remember his name. He won't remember mine.
Or so you think.
So you think. He could be watching now. Who knows?
Could be.
News of the week.
Yes.
Really news of the last fortnight, to be fair, because we weren't live last week. The Hunt of Ben Solo. Adam Driver dropped this in an interview promoting his latest content, that he was involved for a long time, from 2021 in fact, so not just a couple of years beyond The Rise of Skywalker, speaking with Kathleen Kennedy about bringing back the character of Kylo Ren and doing something there. And Adam Driver actually spoke with Steven Soderbergh about developing something, and they brought in Rebecca Blunt to work up a story, which was eventually turned into a script by Scott Burns, who, if you remember, was one of the writers brought in to touch up Rogue One. Yeah. He called Adam Driver, said the Hunt of Ben Solo script was one of the coolest expletive scripts I have ever been part of. We don't know what expletive word that is. He could have said it's one of the coolest shit scripts I've ever been part of. Which would just completely change the narrative. But according to Adam Driver, Lucasfilm loved it. They ended up spending the most they've ever spent on a script to get Scott Burns to write it up, allegedly. And Adam didn't say that part. It went all through the Lucasfilm approval process, development, was allocated the idea of a budget and when it would get made. They were all up for making it, from Kathleen Kennedy to Dave Filoni. And it went to Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, who is obviously Bob Iger, CEO of Disney, Alan Bergman, head of the movie section, basically. Yeah. And it wasn't rejected for financial reasons. It was rejected because neither Bob nor Alan could see past the death of Ben Solo at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. And that was the end of that.
Can I just say somehow Palpatine returned?
Yes. Interestingly, if you follow Steven Soderbergh, he's on Letterboxd, which is you can kind of see what people are watching, whether it's movies or TV. He watched an awful lot of Star Wars in 2024, like all the movies. So obviously it's been getting developed probably up until this year before it's been kicked to the can. But it's not going to move forward. Soderbergh came out following Adam Driver's comment and basically said, I really enjoyed making the movie in my head. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it. Your thoughts, Paul?
Well, I like the prequel to it, the Hunt for Red October. That was really good. The thing is with Star Wars, anything goes, really, doesn't it? The fact that they brought Palpatine back, I mean, we still all struggle with that one. But I think if it had been written in a way that it was, Force related, this was supposed to be a story that follows on after The Rise of Skywalker. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've already got Kylo Ren has transformed to become Ben Solo. So we get to see a totally different version of the character. We saw a hint of Ben Solo at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. And I would say, for my money, probably way more interesting than Kylo Ren, that whiny Sith wannabe. Ben Solo and how that panned out, I suggest would have meant that Adam Driver would have had to have upped his game in the acting stakes because, He's previously been bad. He's now good. Let's see where this goes. I would love to see it. Yeah. And the thing is as well, there's a generation now that have grown up on a very different Star Wars that you and I grew up on that would lap it up. They would love it. And I think it would do very well, either as a cinematic release or as a mini series. It's a shame.
Yeah, good, interesting comment from Mark Melcaster. Coming up on this week's Making Tracks, which will be episode 666 of Father Tracks Radio, the two devils of Father Tracks presenting.
Whatever you do, don't get it pronounced by Louis Spence, otherwise you'll be episode 666. So you don't want that.
I'm just gonna read this out. Because I did some research into Soderbergh, and this is what he on his watch list. So, Adam Driver said that he started thinking about it in 2021. So let's assume he went to Soderbergh in 2021. In February of 21, Soderbergh watched A New Hope. Right,
the first time.
Okay, then. In 2024, so assuming they're still developing it, they're heavy into making the script. In February, he watched The Phantom Menace, Return of the Jedi, and Attack of the Clones. Yeah. In September, he watched The Empire Strikes Back. And in December, he watched A New Hope, The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Revenge of the Sith, The Making of The Empire Strikes Back, and A New Hope.
How do we know?
Because he's on Letterbox.
Okay.
So you can show that what you're watching, TV or film.
Okay.
And I also wanted this one because I made a list. So far, cancelled projects include Steven Soderbergh's The Hunt for Ben Solo, Guillermo del Toro's Jabba the Hutt film, Rian Johnson's trilogy, woohoo, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss's trilogy, The Acolyte, cancelled after one season, Rangers of the New Republic, J.D. Dillard and Matt Owen's Star Wars film, and Kevin Feige's Star Wars film that really wasn't anything ever. What we don't know about is the Lando movie, Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron, which we mentioned earlier, Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie. I think you're going to see that sooner than you expect, actually. We'll just throw that one out there. Still in production, Simon Kinberg's trilogy, the untitled Rey movie, James Mangold's Dawn of the Jedi movie, and Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie. So there's more to be cancelled yet there. And I want to throw out an interesting part. Okay, Scott Burns co-wrote The Bourne Ultimatum alongside George Nolfi, who is writing the Rey movie. So that's an interesting one. That's an interesting connection.
I mean, it would be absolutely great if all these things are flying around and we don't know to what extent they're made. And then at Star Wars Celebration, they announce, we've got 5 films coming out next year. What?
So
that would be amazing.
At the moment where they're making Ahsoka season 2, Ahsoka was dead and came back, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Darth Maul's coming out next year. He was dead and he's come back more than once.
Yeah. So what's the problem?
Bob Iger, he was gone from Disney and he came back. So, I don't understand how these people can come back. Is it a good enough a reason for Disney to be making creative decisions? Because as far as I'm concerned, Lucasfilm should be in charge of creative. Disney should be in charge of, this is your budget, this is your release window, this is how many projects you have to develop this year or release this year. Should Bob Iger and Alan Bergman in their roles be the ones to say, that is creatively a good decision, that is not? Because should the creative people and the president of Disney not be judged, of Lucasfilm, sorry, not be judged on their decisions and their results? So if you don't think that the creative decision of Lucasfilm is good enough, which they're showing in this example of The Hunt for Ben Solo, Why are those people in those positions if you don't trust their decision making?
Exactly. This comes back slightly to what I was saying on Friday in our 8th anniversary show, our special edition. Look it up, folks. Was that this is almost like crowdfunding? Yes, exactly, Mark. It's got that crowdfunding mentality to it, and I don't mean from a financial point of view, but it's almost like they kind of put it out there just to see what the fans' reaction would be. And the fans' reaction has largely been positive. So maybe it is something that they will go back to now and think, well, should we?
Mark asked whether you think that this is just testing the waters for the Rey movie. I think the Rey movie's dead in the water too.
Do you really?
You've got to base this on where you think they're going to make money.
Yeah.
And the sequel trilogy wasn't successful.
No.
They've kind of alluded to the fact that Rey's the way forward for them. That's why they made her a Skywalker. Really, she's the future of the Star Wars. But the sequel trilogy wasn't commercially successful, and let's be honest, that you've got a reduced number of fans who are thus fans of those characters. So if you then make a movie that caters to those characters, what you're taking is a fan base and making it smaller and smaller, and you're making niche content. So you're not going to make the kind of money that The Rise of Skywalker made, because you're going to make less, because the people that went to The Rise of Skywalker and did not like Ben Solo are not going to go and see a Ben Solo film.
Do you think one of the problems could be...
And the same applies to Rey or Poe or whoever.
Yeah. Do you think one of the problems could be that a lot of people, and I can remember this quite well when the films were being released, when they were staggering a sequel film, then a standalone, then a sequel film, then a standalone, then a sequel film. People, the general public, were getting confused as to the timeline. They couldn't get their head around the timeline.
No, I don't think that at all. I don't think that at all. I think the reaction to Solo was because the displeasure towards The Last Jedi.
Absolutely, because Solo's a great film.
I don't think there's a confusion at all. I think people just go to the cinema to see a good Star Wars film.
Yeah.
We talked about the fan reaction. Some fans with far too much time and money on their hands, in my opinion, flew a plane over the Disney lot with the hashtag Hunt for Han Solo. Presumably because they thought that maybe Disney don't know that the name of the film is.
Yeah.
Or were they just wanting people to Disney to look at social media to see how many comments they're making? This is largely driven by a subsection of the Star Wars fan base known as Reylos, who, if you remember, during the sequel trilogy, became somewhat toxic.
Yes, yeah.
I
mean, is there a chance
not all of them?
Funded?
Some very fun, interesting, passionate people who love those characters. Sadly, a small proportion who really quite horrible. And you get horrible people within every aspect of fandom. There's some very horrible people in Star Wars out there. I disapprove of this because I view this as kind of harassment of staff at work. And I do, because...
This is a HR issue.
Well, no, I just think, you're flying out over the Disney lot. Who are you aiming it at but the people that work there? So why are you driving... What's the purpose? To upset and make them uncomfortable? Their job is to know what's going on in terms of fandom. There's people employed to monitor social media to see what the fans are reacting to and so on. So they already know this. So I only see this as a negative thing. For the sums of money you're paying to fly a banner over, I think there's far better causes in the world than I want to see a particular movie. It feels, one, childish, and two, bullying, harassment of staff. I don't think you should be approaching people at their work or trying to send messages to people at their work in this way. It just makes me uncomfortable. It's the same with the people that do boards in Times Square or putting flyers up in posts at Disney lots, and I don't.
Do you not think that?
I don't like it, to be honest.
Do you not think that Adam Driver couldn't afford that banner?
No, he's only doing like 6 films a year. I just I don't think it's an effective or polite or respectful way to behave. To be perfectly honest,
would you like to see a Ben Solo film?
I'm not fussed. My attitude's actually changed a little bit. I actually like the concept of the person who is of the bloodline of Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, the Skywalker Solo bloodline, having a child with the daughter of the Palpatine bloodline. I would like to see a film with their child, because I think that's a fascinating concept, the Skywalker Palpatine lineage. And I think you can make something really creative and interesting with that. I'm almost at the point that because of the behaviour of a very minority of fans, I almost don't want to see it happen because of that.
Yeah.
I just think it's toxic behaviour. I think when you're doing this, if you're passionate, make content, get on lives like get on a live like this and talk about it. Talk about it on your social media. Get that kind of hashtag trending. Yes. Yeah. But you don't need to get in the face of staff. I saw so many comments this week. Oh, Bob Iger's posted something on his Instagram. Let's go comment bomb his post. That's horrible behaviour in my eye. I can't understand how people would go on social media to encourage that. As if Bob Iger's posting to his own Instagram anyway. I just think you need to actually rein it in, people. Be adults. I don't care what age you are. Be a little bit socially responsible. Paul McHugh's making a great comment there. This is done for social media impressions. Look what we did. Attitude. I highly agree in that, and I think people's behaviours on social media actually needs to improve. I've seen so many people actually respond to criticism of their behaviour on social media with, "Oh, well, it's social media. I can say what I want." Kind of attitude to things, and it's like, no, just behave yourself.
The easiest thing to do is just to rebrand it as anti-social media, and then you cover everything.
That's the start. That's actually the start. I don't think you should behave on social media how you wouldn't behave in real life. So I come on here and I'll make some controversial comments. I will make the same on social media, but I will always say it's my opinion, and it's not fact. It's an opinion. Yeah. So if you want to have an opposing opinion, you're most welcome. That's why I love people that will throw something in the comments. And I'll happily change my opinion if you convince me.
And that's how it used to work. People
how it used to work.
Have opinions.
I don't necessarily think... I think there's a lot of very passionate Reylo fans who want to see more content with Rey and Kylo. Respect to them. Because... if you're passionate and you love a character, you want to see more of that character. I respect that. So I can understand the whole campaign using this hashtag. Respect to that. It's people I think that, and it's a small minority who cross a line. And I just think when you're getting in people's faces, and I find this, if you're flying a plane over their place of work, I take that as getting in someone's face to the point of harassment. I think it makes me uncomfortable, and it makes me then not want positive things for them. So I'm at the point of saying, tough. You're not getting the film. Although I think it's a wrong move by Alan Bergman and Bob Iger to be making decisions on content. I think that should be left to the president and the creative content of Lucasfilm. And if you don't think they're doing a good job because they're not delivering the profits you want from it, remove them. That's your job as CEO and head of the movie studio. You should be saying, this is your budget, this is what we want this year, and that's how you should be measuring them. You shouldn't be saying, you can't bring that character back. If you can bring Bob Iger back, you can bring any character back. And if the story is good enough, you can bring everyone back. You brought Palpatine back in a Fortnite game, and your justification was somehow he returned, right? And, that's your That's your level. So, yeah, I actually think this is anger from Adam Driver and Sonnenberg because they didn't receive a penny for all years of work they've put into this. Carrying on the news front, because this has dominated the news, claims it was ready to shoot before being presented to Disney. Very weird to me that they developed the script entirely before presenting it to Disney. You would have presumed there would be in discussions before because they've announced many other movies without having a script, clearly, as we're seeing with the Rey movie. It almost feels like they knew this was going to get rejected.
Yeah.
But it also begs the question, how's Lucasfilm able to spend $3 million developing a script for a project that, as a pure concept, Disney rejected? That's a lot of wasteful money.
This is why I still think there's an element to this where this is likely to happen, because it's almost... they're almost sort of like wanting people to... Not a petition, but it's that mentality. It's about saying, let's get people involved in this debate and see where it goes.
I don't know. Part of me thinks that Adam Driver's like, I'm fed up people asking me if I'll ever come back to Star Wars. I actually tried and failed to get back into Star Wars is basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
Although, what I will say is, there's a bit of politics here at play as well, because Bob Iger would like nothing better than if Alan Bergman was the next CEO of Disney.
Yeah.
And obviously, Bob Iger still tried to run the show when Bob Chapek was in charge, and there was a lot of conflict there. He didn't like a lot of Bob Chapek's decisions. I question whether Bob Iger should have ever been brought back, because he's the guy that created Disney Plus, and that's been an abject failure by any financial measure. And as a CEO, you're judged on adding value to the shareholders. He hasn't added value. He's lost the money through that entire project. So should he have invested, say, in the next CEO? I don't think so. And I actually find that there's certain people in the process who want to be the Disney CEO who members of the cast like Adam Driver know very well. I'm not going to name them. But they want them to be or her, that narrows it down, to be the next CEO. Part of me thinks that maybe this is part of a political move to make it more likely that she may get the CEO job. Because once Bob Iger's gone, I think Alan Bergman will go, because he won't be wanted around by the next CEO. And you can start getting changes at the top of Disney. You're going to have changes at Lucasfilm, because Kathleen Kennedy's already said that she's going to be stepping down. Yeah. Suddenly, all the projects that are on the shelf get dusted down and get brought back off the shelf and suddenly become potential again. So maybe it's not gone. Maybe it's not dead. The whole argument that it's ready to shoot is rubbish. They've got a script. Nothing's ready to shoot unless it's gone through pre-production. You've done all the artwork and you've done all the building of models and whatever. So, yeah, it's a long way away from being ready to shoot.
Yeah.
Paul makes a good comment, though. No one would have known about any of this if Driver hadn't deliberately let the cat out of the bag. Driver knew what the repercussions would be online by inciting his fans. I think so. But I still argue the fact that maybe he's just fed up getting asked if he's coming back, and he's like, no, we've tried. And with Sonnenberg having watched all the Star Wars content in 2024, I think it's not been until this year that it's been rejected. I don't think a certain time period has passed. People were talking online about NDAs. Sonnenberg and Driver were not paid a penny for this project. So if you've not paid a penny, you've probably not signed a contract, because why would you sign a contract to do something for free? So there probably is no NDA in place. And NDAs aren't worth anything that they're written on, as Andrew Mike Button Windsor has found out this week. That was a look you didn't think you were going to get.
I was just about to ask who, but then the penny dropped.
It's difficult not calling him by his the artist formerly known as Prince.
Formerly known as Prince,
Steve Sonnenberg's also talked about it on Blue Sky, which is, if X and Twitter is for the right wing, Blue Sky's for the left wing. And Steven Sonnenberg is no longer on X. He is on Blue Sky at the same interesting handle, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a very weird one. But it is his genuine account. And he made a couple of tweets. I really enjoyed making the movie in my head. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it. And he also said, for the record, I did not enjoy lying about the existence of the hunt for Ben Solo, but it really did need to remain a secret until now. And I think that's part of it. There's like, you know, they knew what that they were going to create a hornet's nest by releasing the news, I guess. And what's their motivations is an interesting one. Also, in the aftermath of the hunt for Ben Solo situation, I asked Kathleen Kennedy if Lucasfilm ever turned in a finished movie script for Greenlight to Disney and had it rejected. She said no, this was a first. And this is why I think it's not about the movie, it's about who the next Disney CEO is. They're burying Bob Iger and they're burying Alan Bergman. And it's all to do with the politics of getting who they wish into power at Disney.
Well, I think
if they get who they want in power in Disney, suddenly the film could be getting made again. So, yeah.
I think as Star Wars fans, our biggest fear would be that whoever they got in charge of Disney wasn't a Star Wars fan. That would be a really crazy situation.
That would be interesting. My point would be, if you remember Colin's script for episode 9 got leaked in its entirety.
Colin
yes.
Trevorrow. Yeah.
That's what you want to do if you want to throw content out there that you know is not going to get made, and you want people to judge you on your work. That script suddenly gets leaked. I'm not saying he did it, but someone did on his behalf because they thought it was a great script. And all of a sudden his credibility is maintained. This script hasn't been leaked, and that's because they think it might still get made. Yeah.
And I think that's probably the case.
And I think it's all got to do with who the next Disney CEO is. And we'll probably find out in January. A lot of fans are making a lot of comment about there's a Disney shareholder meeting on the 13th of November and the share prices moved 2%, as if that is going to make a difference to anybody. You have to remember that's accounts for the year to the 27th of September, I think it is, for Disney. And the share prices are relevant. The share price is up 60% this year. But if you go back 5 years, it's pretty much steady. Disney's share price pretty much always stays steady. It's all about the dividend, which is based off your earnings per shares, which was based off your profitability. And I expect Disney's profits to be up 18% this year. So if you think there's going to be any pressure on Bob Iger due to performance and not making the hunt for Ben Solo, that would have added very little to that bottom line. Regardless of how it performed, it's not relevant. What is relevant is come January, February time when it's announced who's replacing them. So if that's what, if you want to fly a banner over Disney Plus, fly one over it says hashtag who's the next CEO is probably going to achieve more than. I don't know what they wanted with that banner. I think it was stupid. But, there's lots of stupid people in every fandom. So we'll just add those individual Reylos rather than casting aspersions on the whole group. Sadly, the Reylos are billed as toxic because of the minority, like every fandom. Star Wars itself is called toxic.
So is the way, yeah.
So that's my opinion. What's your opinion, Paul?
I personally can see some logic that this gets made now, because I just think that the weight of public opinion could go in the direction that Mr. Driver would like things to go. The fact that it hasn't been leaked, as you alluded to, potentially means that it still could get the green light. It's an interesting situation. I think you said that it's the only time that the script's been turned down.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
But let's be honest, they made the Doom movie for Marvel without a script. They seem to still be writing Solo while they were making that. Rogue One got
yes.
changed
Yeah.
halfway through the process, so
It's
how
not been an
important is
easy
a script
ride.
nowadays?
Exactly. It's not been an easy ride in the new era at all, has it? Um, yeah, and the sequel trilogy, there was no sort of end point scribbled down before they started making it. It was just a mess. Um, I'm gonna say that it's gonna get made.
Well, I'm going to throw it. I tell you what's going to happen. You're going to get a change of Disney CEO. Things are going to move slowly over the next year when it comes to announcing new Star Wars projects. And as the new Disney CEO takes over, they're going to announce 2 new Star Wars trilogies. They're going to announce a Rey and Kylo Ren trilogy. So you're going to get a Rey movie, a Kylo movie, and then a movie with them together.
Yeah.
And that's why these writers who worked on the Bourne Ultimatum are working on opposing projects.
Yeah.
And you'll get Simon Kinberg's new Star Wars saga, which will be 10, 11, 12, but it'll be new characters and a new storyline from scratch. And I think that's how they move forward. So you've got a little bit of something for everybody.
Yeah. And would you in 10, 11, and 12, would you keep 3PO and R2?
No.
No. Totally
I would,
new characters.
I would start the film with a shot across Tatooine with a Jawa sandcrawler, and I would have C-3PO and R2-D2 standing in the middle of the desert, and then they just get crushed.
He's already been thinking about it.
Yep, since there. And then I would drag their carcasses down to Jabba's palace. It's now Rot the Hutt's palace. Give them to EV-99 and have them stretched out, hung, drawn and quartered and hanged from the banister.
With EV-99 voiced by Mark Hamill.
Voiced by Mark Hamill. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing, I've changed my mind so much. Ironically, because of the hashtag The Hunt for Ben Solo, which has been all over my ex.
Yeah.
To the point where I've gotten to the point where I think, you lot do not deserve this movie. But then I'm focusing on that and the most toxic element of the fan base. So I think there is a film to be made there. They've obviously been struggling with Rey. They've not so struggled with Kylo. Combining the two, I think, solves the equation. Give one each their own solo film and then have them combined as a trilogy. Announce it like that. I think you'd get people ecstatic and happy who like those characters. And for the people that don't like those characters, let's tell you a little bit more about what our plans are with Simon Kinberg's trilogy. Tell us Rian Johnson's trilogy has been cancelled so he can stop making comments that upset me like he did on my birthday by saying he'd be excited to come back. And you've got a happy fan base. Rogue Squadron is a TV series. Have one TV series a year. Have one movie a year. Let's get a focus going. And you could get a bit of life back into Star Wars again.
Yeah, have one quality TV series a year, and if the structure now is only going to be 8 episodes, release 4 episodes in one quarter, leave a gap, and release the last 4. So
what
you can spread it out throughout the year.
What I would say is, when I read out that list of what's been cancelled, what a bunch of talented people they've turned down.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've got a director of a couple of documentaries making a Rey movie. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Because you pick the director after you've written the script, surely.
Yeah.
If your Rey movie turns into a high-octane action thriller and you've got a documentary maker making the film, make it make sense.
Oh boy, it's going to be exciting. Well, it's my birthday tomorrow, so I'm hoping there'll be some really bad news come out regarding Rian Johnson.
Yeah, I hope it's announced tomorrow is they're making a new trilogy. Because you're just back from a holiday at Croatia where he filmed The Last Jedi, that's why you went there. And just admit it, Paul, secretly you love it.
I did not go to any filming locations for The Last Jedi. I promise you that.
You didn't
Or if I
did you get a massage when you were out there? Did you run about in a little white towel like Warwick, baring your backside to the world?
Only in your dreams.
Did you bet on any horse racing when you were out there?
There was no Favias to be seen
Did you go to a casino?
on the ship.
Did you nearly get arrested?
Generally speaking, I do.
Oh, dear. Just a Last Jedi tribute holiday.
I saw some Game of Thrones stuff, but that was about it, you know.
Oh, dear. Lovely country, Croatia.
Very nice, very nice. I will definitely go back there. Yeah.
So we've covered all grounds. We've spoken about Downton again. We've
That's the main
thing
thing.
into the show. It's been an interesting news week. And
you said it was going to be a short show.
I did. And I think on that note, we should probably end it, shouldn't we?
That sounds awful.
It did. But we're going to cancel the show now, just like the hunt for Ben Solo. It's over. It's not happening. And depending on who gets elected next CEO of Fanta Tracks, it could be back next Sunday at 9. And on that bombshell, it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from me. Oh, where's my finger gone? There, him.
And don't forget, Making Tracks, Tuesday, episode 666 of Fanta Tracks Radio with Mark Mulcaster and Mark Newbold.
Keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news each and every day on FanthaTracks.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Pinterest at Fantha Tracks. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and follow Fantha Tracks TV to be alerted to new content and to be a part of our live shows.